So meanwhile that Siobhan is putting the slides there so I can manage my own slides, let me bring you some greetings. First of all, Madam President, I'm sorry that I missed writing Dr. Jocelyn Hezekiah within presidents being present because she is virtually yet again. She was last night with us. She is 94 years old. She attends all the AGM events. Give her kudos. She needs all of our energy because she's undergoing some health challenges, and she's just amazing. She was our first Black nurse, and wait until you see pictures from her. Second, I have greetings from, I just got them yesterday evening, from the nurses and nurse practitioners of BC. Dear RNAO, congratulations on your 100th anniversary. While we cannot be there to celebrate with you in person, we applaud the incredible work RNAO has done to advance the nursing profession in Ontario and beyond. And my last treat before I went to sleep at, you don't want to know at what hour, and I was not tweeting this time, I was looking at what else did we get, so I will read it to you. You can guess it on the way. Dear Doris, I'm sorry I'm unable to attend RNAO 100th AGM, and what I'm sure will be a wonderful celebration. Congratulations to you and to all nurses, past and present. You have been absolutely instrumental in ensuring that for a century now, Ontario has benefited from the highest standards of nursing care. What's more, you have put Ontario in the map internationally. The world not only knows and aspires to our high nursing care standards, but benefits from the research and practice originated by you and your dedicated members. Much is often said, and rightfully so, about the collective desire to live in a strong economy. But my experience has also taught me that Ontarians yearn to be part of a caring society. Any success we may have achieved in building that society is surely due in part to the disproportionate influence for good of our nurses have had in our lives and in our communities. Thank you all, and again, congratulations. Who is the person? No, you will hear him soon. No? Dalton McGuinty. Dalton, he may be watching too. So, colleagues, we are standing here in a very unique day, not just time. 100 years of our association. Just let it sink. 100 years of our association. How many of you have been members 50 years or more? Let's hold the applause, because if not, I will not be able to say much. Okay. How many stay standing? 45 or more? Okay. How many 40 or more? 35 or more? 30 or more? Stay standing. 25 or more? 20 or more? 15 or more, 10 or more. Now, have a seat, please. And I want to know how many of you have been nurses for a year or less. How many of you are students? So, colleagues, this is a sign of a vibrant organization. Yesterday, I met in the elevator. I didn't ask permission from her to say her name, so I am not going to. A nurse that said to me, a nurse practitioner, just so she will know, that said to me, "Oh, I so wanted to meet you in person." And I thought, maybe she has not been at the AGM. I go, "How many years a nurse?" 47, and I just retired, nurse practitioner. I go, "And is this your first AGM?" And she says, "Yes." And that is fantastic. Thank you for coming, to the colleague that I saw in the elevator. How many of you, this is your first AGM? Stand up, please. Have a look. Where is Anu? Anu, pictures. Oh, good for you. Victorita, thank you. Thank you. How many of you have been at least in 20 AGMs or more? Stand up, please. Stand up, please. Stand up, please. You too. Whoever. 20 years or more. 20 AGMs or more. This is a sign of a vibrant organization. How many organizations can say that they have 12 resolutions? Year after year, year after year, year after year, 12 resolutions. Members that put those resolutions and put a lot of work to them. So, one thing has not changed, whether it was written 100 years ago or not. I don't think that this has changed much. This started actually with Shirley Sharkey, who was beautiful. It was beautiful to see a full row of past presidents yesterday. Full row and more, and more. We are the professional body representing registered nurses, nurse practitioners, and nursing students in Ontario. We advocate for healthy public policy, promote excellence in nursing practice, and empower nurses to actively influence and shape decisions that affect the profession and the public we serve. Power nurses, not empower nurses, power nurses. Because you're set to go on fire with RNAO. And so in the 90s, 20s, we had giants that we are building on them. From nurses at Toronto General Hospital that traveled to Buffalo, New York, in 1901, to the International Council of Nurses, and it sparked on them interest. Interest, how come they will have a nurses association, and we here in Canada, Ontario, will not? And they came back and they created the Graduate Nurses Association of Ontario, GNAO. GNAO focused on, 1, determining standards for nursing education, 2, regulation on how nursing schools would operate, and 3, ensuring that nurses met qualifications for practice. Yeah, those may have not been BPGs, but they did the same in a different way at the same time. This led to the Nurses Registration Act in 1922. They created RNAO in 1925, and this is why we celebrate RNAO in 1925, because before that it was not incorporated. So that's why. But in reality, we were born several years before. So the picture at the top in 1925 shows about 500 members. We have a little bit more now. Add to that 54,000 more. It grew to more than 1,000 after 1 year. They doubled after 1 year. The picture at the top is the second AGM of RNAO in 1927. Moving on to the 30s, the association continued to develop standards for nursing education and practice. To keep high standards, RNAO closed 37 schools that did not meet the standards. Sylvie Crawford, if you are here, look at that. Already in 1930, the Nurses Association, that at that point was the whole enchilada, they already closed schools because they were not meeting the standards. Coupon and Kazan and Katz would be very happy to hear that. Those are the associations that run universities and colleges. The association also took the important step of protecting the title registered nurse by making registration mandatory. Look how early on and how visionary our colleagues were. The picture at the bottom, prospective nurses preparing to write the provincial nursing exam in 1933. Moving on to the 40s, RNAO created the first formal publication called News Bulletin. Began providing legal advice to members who requested it. Is Gail Pitch here? Gail Pitch, are you here? So Gail Pitch was involved with the Grange Inquiry, and that's from where LAP comes. And she actually was this year named life member for the tremendous contribution. Kudos to Gail. Let's give her an applause. During World War II, RNAO helped the Provincial Committee for Civilian Defense, encouraging nurses to volunteer for emergency work in their communities. Thank goodness we didn't have a war, but you may remember that during SARS and during COVID, we actually mobilized nurses and staffed nursing homes and used the VIA nurse to do exactly that. Upon the war, when the war ended, RNAO helped returning nurses to find employment, and also, for the first time, men returning from the war became nurses. They couldn't find work. And the association saw it fit to start to recruit males into nursing. There was a shortage, there was a lot of need, and here you go. 1950. So in 1951, the Nurses Registration Act became RNAO's responsibility for setting standards for admission to nursing schools, courses of study, and 3, setting examinations for regulation, as well as 4, issuing, renewing, cancellation certifications. That's the role of the college today. This required more staff. First, RNAO building in Price Street. Any of you were in Price Street? I was on the board of directors 92 to 94 when we were at Price Street, full of asbestos. Shh, full of asbestos. And, well, all the buildings were full of asbestos in those years, if you think. So that was our first home. We moved from Price Street to Pearl Street. That's quite fitting, and we will get to that too. So this required more staff, and these ladies, brilliant ladies, got a building, the same 6 and more, and they also got some houses at the time. RNAO developed policies for nurses and employers to ensure equitable practices. Sounds familiar? Including employment hours of work, vacations, sick leave, and minimum salaries for various nursing positions, an advancement towards collective bargaining, and then we gave birth to ONA. So RNAO gave birth to ONA, and you will hear also to RPNAO, today called WeRPN, and then the government gave birth to the College of Nurses because they didn't think that was too good to have an association together that was advocating together with regulation. So here you go. That's what has happened now in every province. And so here you can see in 1950s, the beginning of the building, right? Did I skip something? The beginning of the building, And then policies, personnel policies. In 1960, CNO was established in 1963, by the way. Transferred authority for the registration, so RNAO transferred the authority. And then by the end of the 60s, salaries and benefits for nurses were lagging behind. There was a shortage of nurses, and the system needed more nurses, and therefore collective agreement started, collective bargaining. So the picture of the visiting nurses, look at that. This is how visiting nurses dress. Keep an eye if you work in St. Elizabeth, BON, any of you. Those were St. Elizabeth nurses, actually. 1967, Albert Wegery became the first male president, and he's standing to your right, proud, looking at everyone. First male president that we had. And the lady below below Albert, I had the privilege of meeting her. That is Laura Barr. Laura Barr, when I joined RNAO, I thought, how could she be 16 years at RNAO? She was 16 years at RNAO, executive director. When I started, I met with every executive director that was there still and willing to meet, and it was a treat to learn from them. And then came 1970, and that's when Jocelyn Hazayak became and Irma Jean, is that you laughing there? The one looking up there laughing. I thought that might be Irma Jean. Because Irma Jean was, I believe, a year before Laura, the president, and not before Laura, before Jocelyn. And I told you that Jocelyn looked like a million, and so did Irma Jean. By the way, all of them were very sharp in those years. I think we are too. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the logo. Today someone was talking with me about our old logo. I think was a couple of colleagues spoke with me today. So that was beautiful. RNAO focused on member benefits, offered optional professional liability insurance, and it started to do what today really is PLP, right? RNAO endorsed the formation of Ontario Nurses Association, 1973, and giving the authority for negotiation and collective agreement to the Ontario Nurses Association. And then comes 1980. 1980, policy work, papers on healthcare cost, legal standing at the Grange Inquiry. I told you about Gail Pitch on that, and the Royal Commission inquiry that explored a series of mysterious, that was the Grange Inquiry, mysterious death at Toronto Hospital for Sick Children. Quite something it was at the time. And then you have in 1986, RNAO celebrated its legal assistance program, a voluntary program, remains voluntary, to help nurses with legal problems because during the Grange Inquiry, they didn't have. Now I don't need the paper anymore because that's our joint history. Our joint history, I first want you to know about the woman in the middle on the left, a gorgeous woman, the blonde woman. I will tell you about the one on the right too, but first the left. That is my dear, dear friend, Shirley Douglas, the daughter of Tommy Douglas. Now, I always say nursing is the biggest gift I have had in life. I have met both as a nurse in many countries and also as a ED or CEO, the most formidable people, formidable. And I make it my point to open the doors to every single president, that they also get that privilege. Shirley Douglas was amazing. She wouldn't let everybody into her house. It was quite private. And she had a room of Tommy Douglas. And I went as much to see and be with her, because she was a treat, as to see the room of Tommy Douglas. And you will get these voicemails from Shirley when I would come home from work. Doris, and she was very deep, she was an actor. Doris, there is trouble. Things are no good, no good. We need to do something. So one day, Shirley Douglas said that we needed to do something big, and invited all the famous artists that she knew. And Hilda Swarsky, there to your right, in the corner to the right, was there, and many other members. Hilda Swarsky, where are you? We had a lot of fun with Shirley Douglas, and we did important things. Sue Williams, is Sue here? Sue Williams with then Lynn McLeod, the leader of the Liberal Party, very engaged, Sue Williams, on the issue of baccalaureate entry to practice. And then, of course, to the right is three of my big friends. One of them is Elizabeth Whitmer. I spoke about her yesterday. She's the one that believed on the power of nursing in so many ways, BPGs being one of them, and many other things. And also with her and her colleague in education, they declared the baccalaureate entry to practice that became then effective in 2005. And then, of course, to the right of Ms. Whitmer is my absolutely amazing friend, Charlotte Nosgard, who I miss to this day. And the others that you see there are the presidents of ONA back then and of etc. So, registered nurses equal quality care. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. And that was, where is Paul Andre? The pin. Yeah. Paul Andre said to me, don't forget the pin. So here, Paul Andre, they used to sell it. When I saw this, I thought, $4.95. They were lunatics. $4.95 for a pin that is really not gold. What did we do? And I approved that. Well, we didn't have a lot of money, I guess. No excuse. And then we decided the pin was for free for any single member of RNAO, not late after that. To you. You deserve the pin and more. You deserve the pin and more. And then I thought, why do I need to put this CD? Well, give me your phone or mine. We needed to put this CD because I ask now why. Well, guess this. 50 years or 25, who knows, from now, people will say, what did they have in their hand? Absolutely. Put your phones up so we take a picture. So we will tell them, these were called cell phones. These were called, what else? What else are called? Handheld devices, smartphones. This is what we used in 2025. Yes, I don't know what you use today. We will tell them, but this is what we used back then. It's the way it will be. And then in 2000, here is Shirley Sharkey with me in 2000 when we were calling for important things to happen, and we issue a report together. I think every single president has issued a report because reports are important. And what do you think is in the middle there? 2003. What is that? SARS. SARS was an experience like no other. The preamble for COVID. Nurses were refused fuel when they went with their car because everybody was afraid of them. We had, remember they spoke about two phases. We knew that there were no two phases. It was just one, extended one. And they tried to cover it up. And RNAO with Dr. Adeline Foch-Raphael asked for a public inquiry, and we got it. Those nurses had masks that said silence, muzzled, and we were there. We were afraid the media will not come, and so we said you enter without the mask, and then as soon as We read boom, word, everybody puts the mask, and you could see all the media like that. It was packed, it was amazing, and we got many things out of that. Who recognizes the lady in pink? Pink? Nurse practitioners, where are you? Where are our NPs? I see a few. The colleague in pink was the first nurse practitioner. She was not a nurse practitioner. This is meaning by title. When Dalton McGuinty came to announce 25 nurse practitioner-led clinics at RNAO home office, she went to the mic and she said, "Let me tell you," probably Jocelyn Hazayak is speaking the same. Nurse practitioners existed a lot before, but they were open and close, the schools. So you guys owe it to also people that were with us. This is the building that we bought in Pearl Street, the one in the middle, in Pearl Street. And all the politicians came to the building to bless the building or to look at what we had there and where were the microphones or who knows what else. It was really beautiful. And then who is the guy in the right in the middle? George Smitherman. He was a good friend of nursing. He took me every single Friday from the moment that he began. He took me on to visit hospitals, and he was brutal with the CEOs and with everybody. What's your full time? What's your full time? Because they had promised. Remember, we had 49% full-time employment, and RNAO pushed for at least 70%. They took us across the province, the association. That's why you hear them talking about us. And it was called the 70% solution. And yes, they got us there. And George had a lot to do with that. And who is the lady on the right, on the left? Who? Tazim Birani. That's right, my first director on the VPG program. When I spoke with Tazim, I said, "Tazim, we will see how this works. You are it with me, and we will have half a person to help us." Not because we didn't have the funding, but because I wanted to make sure we used the funding appropriately. And we started to develop the program together. She was the first 7 years with us, and she did amazing work with us and her team, and then we grew and grew. Who is the lady in the middle in 210 there? What minister is that? Deb Matthews. That is Deb Matthews. Lots of work with her too. A lot in long-term care. In those days, long-term care and health was one ministry. And then the lady in the middle, the pink one, is my dear colleague, Dr. Teresa Moreno. And she is the one that, she didn't open the doors. She kind of like me, like happened with my door today at the room. You don't want to know, this is why I was late. It was locked with nobody inside. It's like miracles of my rooms. Nobody inside, okay? The people say, "Are you sure your husband is not inside?" I'm pretty sure. And I don't have anybody else. Locked inside. With the Maxine told me I have a bit of energy. Well, but to lock a door from inside, I didn't know that piece. In any case, she, through the door, Dr. Teresa Moreno, basically came to a meeting, will not go into the details, and then said she wanted to translate. She actually is the head of research in the government of Spain federally. She wanted to translate the VPGs. We translated the VPGs with them, and they continue to translate to this day. And she then said, "And I want Bepe sauce," because that's how they call them, Bepe sauce. And I said, "Well, you will have Bepe sauce. We will make a model that is for you, and you will run them." And this is from where the VPSO host model comes. And because the VPGs then were in Spanish, we opened the door to everywhere in the world that speak Spanish. And Minister Matthews was also in the event. It was a mega event, and she was so proud, the minister, and we too. Rhonda is there somewhere. My awesome president, Rhonda, we released look how long ago, and they still now, just now they start to listen. Primary solutions to primary care, well ahead of the game. If they had followed, if government on actually on everything, if they had followed everything that we have said, we would be in a much better shape, let me tell you. Much better shape. In that report, 2012, we already spoke about RN prescribing. We already spoke about RNs being central to primary care. We, of course, spoke also about nurse practitioners, and we gave them a model. And just now, Dr. Philpott, thankfully, is following what they think is the vision, but much of that, if you read that report, is there. My dear friend Vanessa Burkowski, that is watching from above and smiling and feeling very proud, and so is Charlotte. We released with her a very difficult report. Is Carol Timmings here? So Carol Timmings was part of that gang. We released Mind the Gap report, and we got hell from the nursing community. We got help from the nursing community because we said that actually in tertiary, quaternary hospitals, you needed to have an all-RN because that's what the research shows. So that's what we asked. We said that in very complex care, you need way more RNs than what we had. So we got some of that progress, but we also got a very difficult time, and we never have shy away from difficult time. Never, and never will, and you never should. Those of you that are super young and will take on the baton, never shy away. Heather McConnell, is she here? Heather, third director of the VPG program, and Heather there with Mei Tao. Is Mei Tao here? Our right hand in China. Mwah. You have no idea how some of your colleagues, and I don't want to start to name because I will forget someone. You know who you are because I have spoken with you individually. Mei Tao is one of them, what they have given to this association. And you are one of them too, my darling. You have no idea. You have no idea what they have given to RNAO in terms of time, commitment, knowledge, expertise, you name it. And that's with Sally Doe from Lanzhou Hospital, and we are there with them. And Imogene Baynock, my second director, 10 years or 11 years, amazing work, running the book together with Shirley Sharkey, with Azim Virani, and we had a fantastic time at St. Elizabeth organized by them. And here we are with Kelly Stadelbauer. Where is Morgan? Kelly Stadelbauer was director of membership when I came to RNAO. She became the CEO of the Midwives Association. I was a reference, proudly so. And then came Daniel. And here is with colleagues from primary care, yet again, pushing for primary care. And then comes 2020. And in 2020, what can I tell you? Bill 124. That says it all. But that picture on the right, what do you think it is? That is COVID. That was Marianne and I when COVID started, and behind we put SARS, so they would kind of know. We don't want to be heroes. We want to have masks. We want to be protected. We want to have decent staffing, etc., etc. And then you can see in the left below my amazing immediate past president, Dr. Claudette Holloway, and my current president, NP Lamol-Dolkar, in a rally of the environment. Because colleagues, we started to take environmental health that has become environmental crisis actually 20 years ago. Before it was a fashion, we were already involved. Kim Jarvi, who retired 2 years ago, did amazing work on environmental issues with us, and we are involved to this day. The latest, talking about break the fossil influence, because the same companies that work with you on healthcare issues, on healthy public policy issues, are the same companies, some of them, that work with fossil fuel industry, and you better check in your workplaces and make sure they stop, because we should not be enabling ourselves to be used for purposes that are not the intended purposes of public health and the good for all. And our colleague, Caroline, who works with the CAMSI in the Indigenous Primary Care Council, she was going to be here yesterday, but she is ill. She was not, she is ill. And of course, in between, who are those two ladies? You know them. And here you go, here you go. When you have people, colleagues, that have lost their most precious kids to the ravages of substance use or to poison drugs, we have no excuse not to be involved absolutely to the nth degree. And this is why we actually this year took the government to court, the same government that gave me the medal yesterday on behalf of the king. Hey, I said when I got the Order of Ontario and I was speechless, the lady that told me, says to me, I was not doctor then, she goes, Miss Grinspun, are you there? I go, yeah, I'm speechless. She goes, you're not well known for that. I said, well, I guess I can make more noise now. So now I can make more noise even. Here you go. But we did take the government to court, and we are still on that, because we never should have closed those clinics. Never, never, never. And the Premier knows, he knows, and all the premiers knows, Dalton too, they know when they deserve credit, and yesterday, yes, on some aspects, definitely they deserve credit. RN prescribing, yes. RN prescribing in the baccalaureate, yes. Expanded scope of practice, yes. The clinical director for long-term care, yes, but not on this and not on the environment. And then my president, that is now, past president, that is now my director of membership and communications, or your director or our director, Morgan Offord, with her when she was president, and with Madame Claudette Holloway, we released Career Pathways, a way of looking at the mirror and who are we, right? And building the profession and tearing down the barriers for that. And then the building on the right, you are going to get to see it next year. We are already there. But next year, the AGM will be at the Pan Pacific. And we live like 5 minutes or 7 minutes from the Pan Pacific, walking distance. And you are going to see from there on ever, you are going to see your professional home, and you will have the president's reception at your professional home, because as nurses never have seen, not the past, not the present, now it will be. So, for you. And yes, that is ours. That whole building, my husband said those two. I go, yeah, all paid, debt-free. So, now to the annual report, very quickly and very briefly. What have we done this year? Because I can give you the history, but we don't ever sleep in our laurels. We keep going and keep going and keep going. So on behalf of the board and on behalf of my amazing staff, whom I will be mentioning as we go along, here is what we have done. First of all, credit goes yet again to Shirley Sharkey on the ends. She brought the ends to RNAO when she was president, Carver model. We used to have 5, we have 4 ends now. And I will go through each one of them, but I want to tell you the story that there is behind these ends. Engage RNs, NPs, and nursing students to stimulate membership So together we can advance the role of nurses. So together we can speak out on emerging issues and influence healthy public policy. Numbers are not there just for numbers. We don't grow, that's a future nurse. We don't just grow for the sake of growing. We grow so we can advance the role of nurses for the public, for Ontarians, for others, and speak out on emerging issues, the most difficult issues. We don't take the easy ones, and you have heard me say this before. We take the most difficult issues, and we will keep doing that. And we already know what we are taking next. And then to influence healthy public policy. So, we have spoken on determinants of health, climate and health, social determinants, toxic drugs crisis, opioids, EDI, safe schools, to LGBT, children, youth, indigenous communities, black nurses, and more, and you will see that. Nurses' work and well-being, increased education seats. We got, thanks to RNAO, and we work with Steve Orsini, so credit goes to him. He and I send the letters to the Premier directly. Our chief nurse, I believe, is here, Karima Belgi, insider, outsider, and we pushed it together, and we got 1,000 seats for RPNs, and yes, in the letter we did put that, 2,000 for RNs, and additional 150 NPs, in addition to what we had, and now we're asking a lot more, and we know that we are getting 2,200, and we need more. We turned 70% of outstanding applicants, and that's unconscionable when we have a nursing shortage. Competitive compensation across all sectors, harmonizing upwards. The minister yesterday, when I mentioned that to her, made a good point. She said, but Doris, in hospitals, they work 24/7. They work the weekends all the time. It's the same in nursing home and in primary care. And I said, I know, but not everyone, right, in proportions. I said, let's meet and talk, because that's where we start. When a minister asks important questions, we answer and we get a meeting and we work together. And then, of course, RN prescribing into baccalaureate programs, and we know already that Carleton is opening. By the way, Carleton is opening the first program after 20 years of no new nursing schools. And also we know that Carleton will have the baccalaureate embedded, and we also know that we will have many more schools, 15 this year with baccalaureate. And we actually ask in the platform, if you want to know what we have asked, look at the provincial platform in this case. We have asked that all schools have RN prescribing embedded in their baccalaureate programs by 2029, because there is no reason why not, and because there is no reason that those entering nursing schools need to pay a course. For those of us that are already graduated, yes, but not for the ones that are joining now, and actually the one that asked me and understood that was Premier Ford. So I'm sure he will help us with that. Access to NPs and NPLCs, we have asked for many more than what we have. The US still has double the number of nurse practitioners that we have in Canada, and Ontario is the best. But the best in Ontario vis-a-vis Canada is not good enough. We look everywhere and we harmonize upwards to the best anywhere. Sometimes the US, sometimes it's not the US in this day and age. Universal pharmacare and dental care. We got dental care, thank you to Jagmeet Singh, and it is being expanded by Prime Minister Carney, and we got partially universal pharmacare for some medications, and we are pushing very hard that the Premier and his team signs. I had a chat yesterday about this also with the Minister, and we are like a dog with a bone. Like my husband said to George Smitherman the first time that met, he said to George said, how do you deal with her? And my husband said, Minister. No, call me George. Minister. Give her what she asks is easier. So, 54,500 is easier that they give us what we want. So pharmacare is not for us, it's for the public, and we are going to go after it until we get it, because the public needs that, and because it's cheaper, and every single program that is universal healthcare in the world has universal pharmacare. So, and then stop investor-driven healthcare. Do you think it will stop? No. Do you think we can slow it down? We have. And we will continue to slow it down, and we will continue to put every brake and every barrier in the world so it doesn't expand massively here in Ontario and hopefully in Canada, because simply it delivers less for higher costs. That's that simple. So we will stop that too. So that is also the issues that we touch. So engaging nursing, RNs and PIS and nursing students to stimulate membership. We keep growing and keep growing and keep growing, and next year you will hear larger numbers. But remember, please, it's not that simple. You are the ones that help us. We do a lot of promotions. It's a well-oiled machine, but it's not only to have more nurses. Remember that, right? Remember that. Look at the programs. This was the doing of Morgan Offord, Director of Membership and Services, amazing work with the students. You may have seen some of the posters of students, of chapters, of interest group. The engagement that we have is tremendous. She and her team and the PIPA, not the PIPANs, but the ones for membership and services from the chapters and interest groups, you guys are fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Nursing Week, we had 16 RNAO hosted events, evening, day, night, over 40 members presented, 577 attended, 16 member e-posters, and the list keeps going, and it will continue to go. And then we had recognitions awards that were amazing. The Falls Tour, thank you to my president and immediate past president. They had us in running shoes, and the chapters and the interest groups more and more are engaging and calling us for visits. So now you have visits from long-term care. Janet has been there, Janet Chi, Julia Fineshko, Dr. Julia Fineshko has been there, membership, Morgan has been there, we have been there, our board has been there in your chapters and interest group. Keep asking, because you are the ones that do heavy-duty work. So when you ask, we respond. Don't ever shy away. You need a video, you ask for a video. You need us to go and visit, we will find you who you need depending on the topic. Keep asking, keep being engaged, because that gives us tremendous power with the media, tremendous power with members. We gain members, we have a bigger voice, we have bigger influence to change healthy public policy. So we had a blast in each one of these events, so thank you for hosting us, and thank you for putting the effort of engaging with us on attending. I do want to give also a kudos to Marianne Zich and her department, Kimberly and others, Madison with the In the Loop, Kimberly with the RNJ, Victorita, you have seen them doing pictures, Anu here. When you look at the annual report, you will see there Nishant and Olga, amazing design, amazing work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to Alicia that compiles for the In the Loop, absolutely all the media that we cover, and it's not easy to keep track of everything, so thank you. Advance the role of nurses. Well, BPGs, absolutely yes. So Michelle Ray, stand up, and Janet Chi, stand up. I introduced them yesterday, and Julia Fineshko, and all my team from BPG, stand up, guys. Kudos to you, Shanoya, all of them. And I think Lindsay Hobbit might be here and others I don't see from here, but you guys are tremendous, and trust me, we doubled the team, I did that, but they work so very hard and so very amazingly. And the BPGs are used everywhere in the world. So that's with guideline development. These are the outcomes just this year. New guidelines, next edition guidelines, and then more and more and more. And our partners in other associations benefit from that too. Yesterday, Miriam Botros was here from Wound Canada, and she has been co-lead in one of our guidelines. Tremendous work they do, and tremendous work they will continue to do. Guideline implementation, of course, a lot of work, and you heard, I think Karima mentioned yesterday about some of the programs, even she mentioned Indigenous program. We have programs on everything. On Ontario, this year alone, how many we have added and designated. On long-term care, how many we have added and designated. OHTs, you saw yesterday, some graduated. Indigenous focus, kudos to you, Maxine. She's making us proud of the work she's doing in translating or transforming the Leading Change Toolkit to speak to Indigenous ways of thinking, being, and doing, to look at the 2I approach, and when you see it, you will want to use it, whether you are in an Indigenous community or not. And then Indigenous focus group, BPSOs, 10 Indigenous focus BPSOs that do tremendous, tremendous work under very challenging circumstances. Very challenging circumstances, and yet they keep pushing and they keep delivering amazing work. International BPSOs, the latest one is Nigeria, the entire country, with Dr. Okofur, the chief nurse, entire country, 15 hospitals she's leading with Dr. Michelle Rey, and then Portugal, 2 organizations in Portugal that I am leading with my colleague Amalia Silva from Chile, because we use models where we use our leaders in other countries to help, and whether I shared yesterday that Toronto is health partners, Marjorie and Kristen Campbell, who doesn't want me to mention her, but she's too good not to mention, was in Portugal making us shine at a tremendous conference on quality assurance. I told you about the Indigenous focus BPSOs. You can see later on the report online, because simply I don't have the time to do justice to every single line. But this was, and I said to Michael Scarcello, where is Michael? Well, convenient. Convenient, because I said to Michael Scarcello, stop saying that we have been a lot in Thunder Bay, because we will stop going. But yes, we are going again, because many of our BPSOs are actually there, and also he with Confederation colleagues. First RPN program, BPSO, kudos. And to top it up, cream on the cake, Indigenous focus BPSO RPNs, all of them. And Michael Scarcello and the colleagues are leading that, and Sarah and others were there to observe. The first meeting was incredible. Maxine was there and she spoke. And that logo that you see to the right, that's Maxine's colleague that developed that logo with her. Beautiful. At some point she will explain you, not now, but it will be all on the website. It will be all on the collaborative spaces. I'm getting to them, just building momentum. You will hear more. And then all our colleagues there doing a feast with what's happening. Mental health and substance use, Sabrina Mirali, I don't know if Sabrina is here. She leads that program with Amber, amazing work. And what I want to say about that program, it's in the report. I put the picture in the report. You will see a group of youth youth. Some of them were like 11, 12. So Sabrina runs with colleagues a program with youth in the schools, and you will see what these kids, because they're kids, have done with students in the schools. It warms your heart. So we did put their picture, all of them, in the AGM report. Amazing work, Sabrina. Kudos to you, kudos to Amber, kudos to all the team. Long-term care with Julia Finesco. Where is Julia? Okay, stand up. Look at that woman. I need to be next year in the AGM report. I'm declaring that. That's what she asked me. She says, how come I am not in the AGM report? Well, Julia, you got a lot of pictures this year by going to visit, so maybe. She is the new associate director doing amazing work. Give her a kudos. So Janet started this tradition there, and Julia continues. They are going with all the coordinators. Where are the leaders that work with you, Julia? The coaches. I saw Sue Sweeney here. All of you, stand up. So we give you, fantastic. They go on and on and on to the nursing homes, and they have created such a positive environment in nursing homes that is incredible. So kudos to you and the team. Clinical pathways with Rita Wilson, who is a pleasure to work with. Rita Wilson started the Clinical Pathways program, has taken it to new heights, to amazing places, and already 200 of the nursing homes have RNAO clinical pathways, which means BPGs embedded into full assessments into the electronic health records, and she's driving that bus with 16 coaches that help her move. Global BPSO network, look at that. You can look at the QR code, and that's last ICN, and you will see the picture next year of this ICN, because we are there in mass. Advanced Clinical Practice Fellowship, I will keep going, but you stand up if you are an ACPF. If anyone did Advanced Clinical Practice Fellowship, stand up and stay standing so others can see you. And the ACPF call is on the website, so go and apply, because your organization gets money so that you can actually put more knowledge to your expertise. So capacity building and knowledge exchange. Look at the number of events. Look at the number of participants that we had. Amazing work. This is the work of the team. And then William Osler, we were presenting, and we go to present to many, many places. Then we have disseminations in many, many places. Tremendous milestones with dissemination clinical institutes. In fact, Saturday and Sunday, we have a clinical institute. You guys may be going home. We are not. We are staying 24/7 with the clinical institutes here to continue. A big kudos. The first student-led international with students from Chile, Colombia, China, Canada, etc. All of our 12 BPSOs academic had students, and they did incredible work under Sarah, that might be here. She got an award also yesterday at the student luncheon, and many of them are actually, or some of them, are coming to ICN or to Roderick. Everything they did, from logo to the program to delivering, everything done by the students. So if you think that the new generation is not engaged, not the one at RNAO has. They're all engaged, they're all committed, they're all eager to do more and more for the profession. So there is a reason you got a letter from Dr. Cipriano, and she told you that we are very engaged. Look at that. 11 e-posters that we know, likely more. 2 symposiums, one in Spanish, one in English, that we're leading for for and with ICN. We will be everywhere with the booth, with pride, sharing, as Dalton said, the knowledge of Ontario with everybody else and feeling tall, feeling proud, and making an impact for everybody. Papers. Absolutely. No one at RNAO that is on staff can go and present in an event if they're not committed to write a paper. C'est la vie. And we have many, many papers in addition to the book that you know. The research unit, Dr. Shanoy and I, please stand up because it's amazing the work she does with the research unit, and you will hear a lot more in the future about the research unit. CIHR grants we have received, more we will receive. Also a meeting with all the research units in Ontario and some in Canada, and we had a blast together. The research unit, open library for all of you to use. You need to do papers, you need to do studies, you have an open library because we believe that knowledge belongs to everybody and is not to be sold and is to be shared. And take that QR code because it doesn't stop there. So the book, the Sigma book, Transforming Nursing Through Knowledge. We waited until it was the deadline for either doing a second with them or moving in a different direction. And we love Sigma, but we want to give the book for free. So thanks to Beto and Ishan and their team, Beto, stand up. The book is now free of access for everybody anywhere in the world. Take the QR code, share with your colleagues, and you can Google it also. And it's a landmark book that is now available. And in 2 weeks for ICN, I am told, will be also in Spanish there. Emerging issues, a lot of speaking we do, a lot. Over almost 1,400 times we have been speaking in the media. The most beautiful thing is that most of that is you and people that are not in this room, members. And that's where the power of nursing and the power of RNAO is. Members speak for RNAO. Where is Rob Samalak? You think that he only speaks about the environment? No. The latest that I saw, Rob, kudos, the latest was about traffic and stop signs because there had been an accident in Ottawa, and he is so eloquent. Watch that guy. Amazing person. And all of them eloquent. These colleagues are important to speak. Marpreet Gilly and Trish Gerling, are they any of them here? If they are, so they spoke about supervised practice experience. Amazing work they did, and they did an event with all the community. Social media, we are there too. So to Marianne and to everybody. Now I want to talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion. It's time to stop it. It's time to move with this. I have been saying this for years, and I am not going to let it go. And not everybody's happy. Not everybody's happy. As not everybody was always happy that we spoke so much about students, and I kept saying, but students are the future of RNAO. We're not going to stop it until we see that we have equality, at least within nursing. At least within nursing. And then broader. Because not only because colleagues like the Kamsi, Claudette, also my friend Dr. Edward Cruz, also Maxine, also Dania, and many others in this room, not only you deserve it, that's why it's called equity deserving groups, but also because it's a loss for nursing. We lose talent, we lose expertise, we lose experiences. We cannot do good clinical practice. We cannot do good clinical practice if we don't account for EDI. So if anyone in this room or elsewhere has a dose as tiny as it can be and blind spots, you better get on with it, because RNAO is not stopping, not now and not in the future. So, to you. So, a few things. In addition, and this is before Mr. Trump, I have become even more furiously vocal about this post-Trump because of what he's doing in the US. Taking artifacts from black museums, erasing the history of black people, sending immigrants or refugees to whatever countries that are awful to send. We have no control over that. But that's why my board was so very courageous to enable us to take third-party status. And yes, I will say it in this microphone, ensure that Mr. Poliev never becomes Prime Minister of this country. Never. Never. And I am not going to name them one by one. I'm not. But you start to do a bit of research because you need to. Because the reality is that he has so many of his MPs that are exactly the same, if not worse. Exactly the same, if not worse. Whether it's on 2S LGBT, whether it's on black people, on indigenous people, on anything that doesn't look white like this. And even that, not always. So we are not going to let it happen, and we are super happy that he lost his seat too, and we helped with that too. So tell him, put that in video. Never for the history. It's like the other one, what are these gadgets? Put that in the history book. Never become Prime Minister of our Canada, our indigenous, not our, the indigenous communities or other important values that this country has. So this is post-Trump. Before Trump, we already started because the black nurses, not interest group, they came out of actually the report because of Mr. Floyd that was murdered brutally. And we started the task force, whether it's my leader, whether it's my Angelita. Somewhere, Angelita?
Just there.
Okay, I call her Angelita, I can't help it. Because she is the strong leader that she is, but she has a soul of a piece of bread of goodness. That's why. And to me, and give it up to her that she is getting the Order of Canada, and we are going to celebrate together in a couple of weeks. So, the Black Nurses Task Force, those of you that were in the task force, stand up. Daria was here too. She also is in the task force. All of you deserve kudos. And then, of course, the leading change, the black nurses leading change, and also the indigenous nurses and allies interest group, and Paul Andre and colleagues, the 2S LGBT interest group. Bravo, we are with you. So what you will see, this is the mock-up, construction already started, and this is prior to Trump. But when Trump was elected, I thought, thank goodness we thought about this vision, because it will be in the fabric of RNAO. And when I look from far away in 30 years, who is going to demolish that? Huh? Nobody. So there will be EDI spaces led by staff. Stand up, Siobhan. Siobhan led the Black Health staff space, collaborative space. Where is my colleagues? Maxine was involved. Maxine, stand up. And where is Grace and Tanya? I don't know if they're here. They led the indigenous. And Michelle Rangel, my amazing EA that is now in mat leave with her little gorgeous boy. She led the 2SLGBT, and then Paul, Andrea, and others, many of you involved. You were involved, Madam Past President. You were involved. I think you all were involved because you were in the consultation. So kudos. Thank you. It will look phenomenal. In the RFP, it said that all the stuff that you will see there, everything we purchase needs to come from indigenous communities. And for that, I thank Wanya. Where is Wanya? That was my right hand in helping me work with the company, and before her, Daniel. And I want to tell you one more thing. My colleague, Stephanie Buchanan, where is Dr. Buchanan? She graduated like 2 weeks ago, or 2 months, or 3 weeks ago. So Dr. Buchanan is a new senior manager for equity, diversity, and inclusion at RNAO to work more and more on initiatives related to human resources and every single thing we do. Web pages design, the latest is climate and the environment, gorgeous website, Rob Samalak, Beto, Madison, and all the team, all of you involved in amazing, tremendous work doing that, Mike also, and many others. And then, of course, you have a history of RNAO that, again, the staff were tremendous in work. I have my president here, so I'm going to do it very fast. We do awards with WeRPN, and we do also, not only we give awards, these are awards we gave to media. We are the only health organization that gives still media awards, and that's critical. We also give to nurses awards, and we also get awards. So my shining star, Raul, where is Raul? Raul is a, never nothing is enough for you. You always say yes, Raul. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Raul helps, Raul doesn't help. Raul really coordinates the Iberoamerica Consortium. Amazing work, thank you, Raul. And Raul also is multimedia, and he did a tremendous, tremendous video with colleagues from the interest groups on equity, diversity, and inclusion, and they were awarded in a ceremony this past February. So kudos to you, bravo. And with this, we finish. I told you, to have more members is good, but it needs to have a purpose. So the purpose is emerging issues, EDI. The purpose is also political issues that need to be done. So to Matthew and his team, Matt Calway, stand up, please, Matt, and Alana Coleman, Dr. Alana Coleman, stand up, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 22 submissions in 2024. 22 submissions. Action alerts, bulletins, fact sheets, everything that you need to be able to advocate. And they, of course, work with also Marianne and her team, because that is also critical. ECHO 4.0, my partners in crime, and the work of the entire staff of policy and myself. It was a report that every time we do, every few years, and this is ECHO 4.0. And for those that will look 20 years from now or 30 years from now, let us tell them, if they do what we say, the system will be better. Hopefully someone will listen, and they will. I think some pieces are happening. If nurse practitioners should look at the website, what Alana has done with that is tremendous. So have please a look. And also many of the town halls that we have done. RN prescribing, Karima, we got it. So good. Natalie Boudreau, where is she? Yeah. Natalie, amazing partner to work at the ministry. Thank you. And please tell to Allison and to everybody in the team, it's a pleasure to work with you. And not only we got RN prescribing, it's in Carleton University, and we will have it in more universities. Many gains for RNs and NPs, too many to mention. Social determinants of health, the petition to not close the clinics, I already mentioned to you that, and we will continue with that. Determinants of health That's the only one that fears me even more to talk to the generation in 25, 30 years from now, because if we continue this way, I'm not sure they will be able to be at an AGM, to tell you quite frankly. Because it's almost we have the fire and the disasters in our homes already. So what else do we need to wake up and to actually say something needs to happen? The most courageous aspect was not only the provincial electoral reform, that was the easy one. It was the federal election ad campaign that we said to you what it was, with voiceover from our past president, with voiceover from Marianne, with interviews, with media, with so much that we did, and newspapers all over this province, and we influence the results, and we feel proud, and you should feel proud. When it's we, it's all of us together. Financial sustainability, yes, we are doing well, and we put the money to absolutely good use for you and with you. So, colleagues, here it is. We're also safe, thanks to Ishan and his team. Safe very much in terms of what we do. Because do they try to get us because we speak too much? Yes. And you know what Ishan says to me? We are ready. We are ready. Good thing that we are ready, because we ain't going to shut up. So colleagues, now you can go and see the annual report, because as we speak, we issue it. So you can have it online. Please enjoy it and share it with colleagues. Bring more members. With more members, we have more influence. So please keep going, and the thank you is entirely from all of us here to you. So thank you very, very much.